Hey there, Survivor Ddraig, back in the hands of Chernus, and today I'm going to take you through the arse batch of weapons which I have not yet covered. My other videos will appear in the top right hand corner, so feel free to check them out. So in this video, I'll cover some of the new pistols which have appeared, namely the MK2, which is the Ruger MK2, and the M70 which is the famous Glock pistol. Then to round off the main list of guns, I've got the battle rifle, the R, which is of course the FLAU, and then the two sniper rifles. The VST, which is the Dragonoff sniper rifle, and the Rs to the VSS, which is a VSS Victorias. Before we get down to the shooting range, I will still cover all new weapons that start to appear, and as I record this, the beta for the new update is on experimental, so I'll cover that at some point. Also, if you fancy some Dayz content, let me know in the comments. Ideas are most welcome and I'll see what I can do. Right, let's get started and send those rounds down the range and join our volunteers. Our first weapon is the pistol MK2, which is based on the Ruger MK2, a silent and deadly weapon used by the Navy SEALs, with built-in suppressor and chambered in .22 LR rounds, with a 10 round magazine. Found in towns and villages, but it's not a common find. With no attachments available, let's start shooting. As you can hear, or in this case not, it is a very quiet pistol. With little to no kick, you can pop off a few rounds straight after each other in the same location. Naturally, with a small round and not much power, effective killing takes a few shots. With only 10 in the mag, this can be the issue, so be aware. Three shots is normal, but of course the headshot is always an instant kill. Next up is the M71, which is of course the iconic Glock. The company manager, Gaston Glock, had surprisingly no experience in firearms design or manufacture. What he did have was a vast knowledge in advanced synthetic polymers, and used this in making the Glock 17, introducing a new anti-corrosion treatments into the firearms industry. Chambered in 9mm and holding 15 rounds in the mag, this pistol is a good choice for any survivor and is quite a common weapon of the police, so you probably find them lying about in the police stations. With reasonable control and a bit of a kick, which does mean you have to just aim slightly to compensate for it. This weapon does have a fair few attachments, namely a suppressor, a pistol sight, and an actual sight. The sight itself is handy, but of course needs that 9V battery or a dot. But it gives you a nice boost for aiming. Adding a suppressor of course makes this pistol even more useful, and also tames the kick ever so slightly, and doesn't use much damage even with a suppressor, making it a very handy sidearm. Effective killing is your classic two-shot pistol. Let's move on to something with a bit more power, the R, or the FNL FAL, one of the most widely used rifles ever made, and is currently in service in 90 countries, and was coined the right arm of the free world. The R is chambered in .308 Winchester rounds and has a 20 round magazine. An extremely rare military weapon and has some nice attachments to find. A yard weapon and very powerful, as you can see from the kick. as it uses the same round as the M70 Tundra. Thankfully, there's assault sights that can be used. The RVN sights, the combat sights, and the ATOG sight, all adding a much needed aim to shooting. As well, you can add two different types of stocks, the folding and the palmer, adding a bit more control to try to tame this rifle. Obviously, this rifle will make mincemeat of the infected. Let's try it against our targets instead, with various sights. First is the RVN sight, and we are at 200 meters. This is my least favourite of these sights, but it's better than the iron. Next we have the combat sights, which I prefer. This rifle is good between 200 meters and 600 meters. And with this next sight, the ACOG makes life a lot easier. As you can see, the kick is quite violent, so let's add some stocks. As you can see, with either stock, you can make it a much less violent kick, making it a good find and a very good long range rifle. You can also add a bottle suppressor, but there's no standard suppressor available currently. The VST, or the Dragonoff sniper rifle, is one of the two true sniper rifles in the game. These are very rare finds, and this one in particular is likely the rarest in Chernobyl. The Dragonoff, used by the Russians in the squad support role, and is still being used today after being introduced in 1963. Chambered in 7.62 x 54 rounds, and it has a 10 round magazine. This rifle has a fair few attachments, and can also take the PSO-1-1 scope, not shown here. There is only a plastic bottle suppressor, so let's just listen to the noise this weapon makes. If you hear this sound, be very careful, as it is a 1000 meter killer. With various sights, namely the PS-1, the PSO-1-1, for night sight, 1PN51 scope, and finally the Cobra sights. Let's check out these various sights, starting with the PSO-1. Notice a nice scoping guide. Now the PSO-1-1. And the normal sights, the Cobra. This has no zoom. If you want to be truly terrified, let's take this sniper rifle at night, and with the night scope attached, the sound will be truly terrifying to hear. So let's test this range at 500 meters. As you can see, a truly one hit kill even at this range. Lastly, we have the VSS, or the VSS Venturas. VSS stands for, well, I won't butcher the Russian language, but the English translation is Special Sniper Rifle. It's certainly an interesting weapon, with built-in suppressor, and shooting the slightly larger 9mm x 39mm rounds, so the pistol rounds won't work, but there is also some armour-piercing rounds available in some places. Another extremely rare weapon, with a fair few attachments. And the same sights can be used on the previous VST. This quiet sniper rifle is interesting, as it doesn't possess the power of the other rifles, or indeed a sniper rifle, but still has a quiet kick. We can do a bit of 200 meter infected killing with a scope on, and as you can see the power is reasonable. But against other survivors, be warned, it needs accurate placement and a couple of shots if more. The suppressor is good, and if you keep within the 200 meter, maybe pushing to the 300, and if you don't go too far out of this ranges, kills are proper and are almost silent. And that's all the firearms covered as of this video. No doubt new ones will appear in patch 1.06, and I will cover them after full release. So if you have any ideas, comments, or anything else you'd like to see about Dayz, feel free to comment below. So with that, Survivor Ddraig is signing off. And always remember, the firearm is your best friend in the wilds,